They tell you that muscle loss after 60 is normal. They say it like it's a fact carved in stone, like gravity. They say your strength fading, your balance weakening, your legs thinning, your arms losing power, that it's just age doing what age does. But let me tell you something straight today. A lot of what people call normal aging is actually nutritional sabotage happening quietly on your plate every single day. And one of the biggest culprits hiding in plain sight is a type of cheese many seniors are still eating, thinking it's healthy, thinking it's safe, thinking it's calcium rich, so it must be good for bones and muscles. Meanwhile, their muscles are shrinking, their joints feel heavier, and getting up from a chair feels harder than it did last year. Muscle loss doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, silently, meal by meal. After 60, your body changes how it handles protein, inflammation, and insulin. The muscles don't respond the way they used to. What once built strength now barely maintains it. That's why food choices matter more now than they ever did in your 40s or 50s. At this stage, food isn't just fuel, it's information. It tells your body whether to build or break down, whether to protect muscle or sacrifice it. Now let's talk about that cheese. The problem isn't cheese in general. The problem is highly processed, aged, or ultra-salty cheeses that spike inflammation, stress your digestion, and interfere with muscle protein synthesis. Many seniors rely heavily on processed cheddar slices, processed spreads, cheese blocks loaded with sodium, preservatives, and inflammatory fats. These cheeses often contain very little usable protein for muscle repair compared to the metabolic stress they cause. They raise inflammation markers in the body, and inflammation is muscle loss's best friend. Chronic low-grade inflammation tells your body that survival matters more than strength, so it starts breaking muscle tissue down to conserve energy. On top of that, these cheeses are often paired with refined carbs, white bread, crackers, processed snacks, which spike insulin repeatedly. Over time, your muscles become less sensitive to insulin, meaning nutrients don't get shuttled into muscle cells efficiently. Instead of rebuilding muscle, your body stores energy as fat or wastes it. You eat, but your muscles stay hungry. Another hidden issue is digestion. As you age, stomach acid tends to decrease. Many processed cheeses are hard to digest and can sit in the gut, causing bloating and discomfort. When digestion is poor, protein absorption suffers. You might think you're eating enough protein, but your body isn't actually using it. That's a dangerous illusion for seniors. Now here's the good news, because there is always good news when knowledge enters the room. Muscle loss after 60 is not a one-way street. It can be slowed, stopped, and in many cases reversed. But reversal doesn't start in the gym. It starts in the kitchen, and it starts by replacing what harms your muscles with what actually feeds them. Instead of inflammatory, processed cheese, your muscles need clean, digestible, nutrient-dense protein sources that also calm inflammation and support hormonal balance. One of the most powerful replacements is fermented dairy done right. Think along the lines of plain Greek yogurt, labneh, or traditionally made paneer in moderation. These options provide high-quality protein, especially leucine, the amino acid that directly signals muscle growth. Leucine is like a switch. When enough of it enters your bloodstream, your muscles get the message: rebuild, don't shrink. Greek yogurt, for example, is strained, which concentrates protein while removing excess lactose that many seniors struggle to digest. It supports gut health through probiotics, and a healthy gut is essential for nutrient absorption. When your gut is balanced, your body actually uses the protein you eat. That alone can slow muscle loss dramatically. Another powerful option is cottage cheese made with minimal ingredients, not the sugary versions with artificial flavors, but plain cottage cheese. It's rich in casein protein, which digests slowly and provides a steady stream of amino acids to muscles over several hours. That's especially helpful at night, when muscle breakdown tends to increase. Eating a small portion in the evening can reduce overnight muscle loss, something most people never even think about. But protein alone isn't enough. Seniors lose muscle faster when their bodies are inflamed, stressed, and deficient in key micronutrients. Vitamin D plays a massive role here. Low vitamin D levels are strongly linked to muscle weakness and falls. Certain cheeses interfere with vitamin D metabolism, while fermented dairy and foods paired with healthy fats actually improve absorption. Add olive oil, nuts, or seeds alongside your meals, and suddenly your body becomes better at using what you consume. Magnesium is another silent protector of muscle. It helps muscles relax and contract properly. Without enough magnesium, muscles fatigue faster and recover slower. Processed cheeses are often low in magnesium, while better whole food alternatives support mineral balance instead of depleting it. Now let's talk about timing, because when you eat matters just as much as what you eat. After 60, your muscles don't respond well to tiny amounts of protein spread thinly throughout the day. They need a clear signal. That means at least 1 or 2 meals per day with a solid, intentional protein portion. When you replace a processed cheese snack with a protein-rich option like Greek yogurt with nuts or cottage cheese with seeds, you're sending that signal loud and clear. And don't underestimate the power of consistency. Muscles don't care about motivation speeches. They care about repetition. Eat inflammatory foods consistently, and they shrink consistently. Feed them properly, and they respond, even decades later. There are people in their 70s and 80s who regain strength not because they discovered a miracle exercise, but because they stopped sabotaging their muscles with the wrong foods. There's also a psychological aspect no one talks about. When seniors feel weaker, they move less. When they move less, muscles weaken further. It becomes a downward spiral, but nutrition can interrupt that cycle. When your body starts feeling more stable, when getting up feels easier, confidence returns. And with confidence comes movement. Movement tells muscles they are needed. Needed muscles stay alive. This is why avoiding the wrong cheese isn't about restriction. It's about strategy. You're not giving something up. You're reclaiming strength. You're choosing foods that work with your body's current biology instead of fighting it. You're acknowledging that your body has changed and responding intelligently, not stubbornly. And here's something important. This is not about perfection. You don't have to eliminate everything forever, but daily habits matter. If most days your plate supports muscle health, your body adapts. If most days your plate creates inflammation, your body deteriorates. Aging doesn't punish you randomly. It responds to signals. So the next time someone tells you muscle loss is inevitable after 60, understand that what they really mean is that muscle loss is common, not unavoidable. Common because people keep eating like they're 40 while their bodies are 65. Common because processed foods are convenient. Common because no one explains the connection between that innocent-looking cheese and your weakening legs. Strength is not reserved for the young. Strength is reserved for the informed. And the moment you start choosing foods that nourish muscle instead of inflaming it, your body listens. It always has. Strength retention is not just about muscles contracting or lifting weight. It is about how a person experiences their own body every single day. When strength remains present, even modestly, the body feels reliable instead of fragile. That reliability quietly rebuilds confidence. Confidence does not come from motivational quotes or external encouragement when you are over 60. It comes from waking up and knowing your legs will carry you to the bathroom without hesitation, knowing your hands will grip a cup without shaking, knowing you can step off a curb without fear. When strength is retained, the body stops feeling like a limitation and starts feeling like a partner again. Loss of strength changes behavior long before it changes appearance. People begin to hesitate. They pause before standing. They look for armrests. They avoid stairs even when stairs are manageable. That hesitation slowly teaches the brain to associate movement with risk. Over time, fear replaces instinct. The body might still be capable of movement, but the mind no longer trusts it. Strength retention interrupts this process at its earliest stage. When muscles respond reliably, the brain records safety instead of danger. That internal record reshapes behavior without conscious effort. Movement is not a separate activity from daily life. It is daily life. Walking through the house, reaching shelves, turning in bed, getting in and out of a car, carrying groceries, opening doors, all of these depend on functional strength. When strength is retained, movement remains fluid rather than calculated. There is no need to plan every action in advance. The body moves first and the mind follows. This natural order is what allows older adults to remain active without feeling exhausted by simple tasks. As strength stays present, posture improves without deliberate correction. Muscles supporting the spine stay engaged. The chest remains open instead of collapsing inward. Breathing becomes deeper, not because of lung capacity alone, but because the rib cage is supported by strong musculature. Better breathing improves oxygen delivery, which further supports muscle tissue. This creates a feedback loop where strength supports movement. Movement supports circulation. Circulation supports strength. Confidence grows quietly in these conditions. It does not announce itself. It shows up as willingness to walk a little farther, willingness to accept invitations instead of declining them, willingness to travel, to socialize, to engage. When strength is present, the body no longer sends constant warning signals to the brain. Without those signals, the mind becomes open to experience again. This confidence directly affects how often a person moves. Movement frequency matters more than intensity at later stages of life. Frequent, low-level movement keeps muscles neurologically connected. Muscles that are used regularly maintain communication with the nervous system. That communication prevents rapid atrophy. When confidence allows frequent movement, muscles receive a continuous message that they are still needed. Independence is built on this foundation. Independence is not about doing everything alone. It is about having the physical option to do so. The option matters even when help is available. When strength is retained, assistance becomes a choice rather than a necessity. That distinction preserves dignity. Dignity shapes identity. Identity shapes mental health. Long-term independence relies on the ability to adapt. Bodies that retain strength adapt better to change. If an illness occurs, recovery is faster. If balance is disrupted, muscles respond quickly. If a fall happens, the ability to get back up becomes possible. Strength retention turns potential crises into manageable events. There is also a social dimension. People who feel strong enough to move confidently remain visible in their communities. They go outside. They interact. They maintain roles instead of withdrawing. Social engagement further supports cognitive health, which in turn supports physical coordination. Strength retention becomes the anchor that keeps multiple systems connected. As strength remains, the fear of injury decreases. Fear often causes stiffness. Stiffness limits range of motion. Limited range of motion increases injury risk. Strength breaks this chain. Muscles that are engaged regularly remain elastic. Elastic muscles absorb shock. Shock absorption protects joints. Protected joints allow continued movement. Movement itself stimulates hormones and growth factors that protect muscle tissue. When movement is consistent, the body maintains a baseline of anabolic signaling even at older ages. This signaling does not create dramatic muscle growth, but it prevents rapid loss. Preventing loss is the true victory at this stage. Stability over time preserves function. Strength retention also affects sleep quality. Muscles that are used during the day rest more deeply at night. Deep sleep improves recovery. Recovery supports strength. When sleep improves, energy levels stabilize. With stable energy, movement feels less taxing. The cycle reinforces itself without conscious effort. Nutrition supports this process, but it is strength retention that allows nutrition to be utilized effectively. Muscles act as storage sites for glucose and amino acids. When muscle mass is preserved, the body handles nutrients more efficiently. Efficient nutrient handling reduces fatigue and inflammation. Lower inflammation protects muscle tissue further. Independence is not measured by age but by capacity. Capacity is the sum of strength, balance, coordination, and confidence. Remove strength, and the entire structure weakens. Preserve strength, and the structure holds even as other systems age. Over time, retained strength reshapes self-perception. A person stops thinking of themselves as fragile. They stop using age as an explanation for every discomfort. They begin to notice what their body can still do rather than what it cannot. This mental shift influences behavior subtly but powerfully. The ability to move without constant assistance allows routines to remain intact. Routines support mental clarity. Mental clarity supports decision-making. Decision-making preserves autonomy. Autonomy reinforces independence. Strength retention also reduces healthcare dependency. Fewer falls, fewer complications, fewer prolonged recoveries. Each avoided incident preserves confidence further. Each preserved confidence encourages continued movement. When strength is present, the future feels negotiable instead of predetermined. Plans feel possible. The body feels adaptable. The mind stays engaged with life rather than preparing for decline. Movement remains expressive rather than cautious. Walking becomes natural rather than guarded. Hands remain useful rather than decorative. The body continues to participate in daily life instead of observing from the sidelines. Independence is not a destination reached once. It is maintained daily through small physical abilities. Strength retention protects those abilities quietly, consistently, and without drama. Confidence does not shout, it steadies. Movement does not impress, it sustains. Independence does not isolate, it empowers. And all of it begins with the simple truth that muscles, when preserved, preserve everything else connected to living fully at any age.